card and skills
No
potential
Emrakul,
fast.
at least not in
Because
the
green
main
No
black
scales
skills
effects
with
by
potential
turn 3 is probably going to be the game or come.
card and skills potential fast. Because green
No
black
scales
skills
effects
with
by
he's
turn
definitely
3 is probably going
so
to
far.
be the game or come.
State away finder. Turn 2.
No scales effects by
Delirium.
turn 3
Gets
is
its
probably
own
going
so far.
to be the game
Set up.
or come.
He rolled over. Ended up taking a forward march after spinning Woodfoot Hills Lightning Strike and Seasons Pass, which is rather interesting. Ended up taking a forward but after it's very fun. Woodfoot Hills Lightning Strike. Interesting. Not rather could be great, but something it has packs the same purchase as interesting. Not just one but something it has packs the same purchase. Interesting. So one constrictor for cone on turn 3 along with a let's see mine. Finally, scales type effect. Cone on turn 3 along with a let's see mine. Another state away finder being played by freshman type effect. See what playing a swamp beforehand. Another state away finder being played by freshman type effect. See what playing a swamp beforehand. State away finder being played by freshman type effect. See what he playing a swamp beforehand. Another state away finder being played by freshman type effect. See what he playing a swamp beforehand. Another state away finder being played by freshman type effect. See what he playing a swamp beforehand. Another state away finder being played by freshman.
And he did not reach Delirium again.
Playing a swamp beforehand. Another state away finder being only 3 types
And
are
he
sorcery,
did not reach
instant,
Delirium
and
again.
land. Fatal push ends up killing the constrictor. Only 3 types
And
are
he did
sorcery,
not reach
instant,
Delirium
and
again.
land. Fatal push ends up killing the constrictor. Only 3 types
And
are
he did
sorcery,
not reach
instant,
Delirium
and
again.
land. Fatal push ends up killing the constrictor. Only 3 types
And
are
he did
sorcery,
not reach
instant,
Delirium
and
again.
land. Fatal push ends up killing the constrictor. Only 3 types
And
are
he did
sorcery,
not reach Delirium
instant, and
again.
land. Killing drawing card per turn, not cracking fetch end of turn. Interesting. Maybe holding up fatal push, holding it to combo with fatal push. Interesting. FreshMentor. No. Cone going into the tank on turn 3 or turn 4. Let's see. Another player having a very explosive start. Also, FreshMentor milling over both 2 seasons past is not good for him, as those are one of his main late game options. Okay, 4 mana being tapped. Ooh, a Cletus Trader we get for FreshMentor. It's very good being able to exile Cone's killed creatures, as well as being able to single-handedly take over the game should it stick. Well, whereas so FreshMentor is a decently sized board compared to Cone's Elvish Mystic. Do you happen to know what's in their hands at this moment until?
I do not.
Ooh, an interesting play in M Renegade. I guess that could be why he was holding the fetch. Okay. Ooh, double Renegade. That's one way to make a board. 1 mana with 3 death touches. Pretty good. Went from being and a walking ballista. Cone vomiting his hand out onto the field in one turn. At least most of it. So I think FreshMentor is probably ahead if he has any sort of removal spells for his opponent's creatures, as Cletus will start exiling and making zombies, which will put him even farther ahead, especially when Green Black Scales is an aggro deck that hasn't done much damage and has no skills effects on the field. What he attacks for 3 with Cletus? Interesting. I mean, Cone could block with the Inernam Renegade and trade, but and then Cone would, and then Freshman would still get a 2/2, which wouldn't be the worst thing for him, but it's not. Cleese could get a lot more value than just exiling a 1 mana creature.
He could have another in hand.
Yep, that could also be the case. That would be why he would be trading off with Cletus, making it 2/2. Oh, a Languish. That's interesting why he didn't just cast Languish before with Cletus. I don't think FreshMentor understood how the Cletus interaction as he died, as it dies with Languish, because he could have gotten 3 free zombies and exiled all 3 of them. Instead, he ends up with no board and gaining 3 health. That seems like a slight misplay from FreshMentor. Although Cone is running out of resources, he only has 2 cards in hand plus whatever he draws. So, as much as it could have been better for FreshMentor, I feel, but he's still in a decent spot right now. Okay. Hangerback Walker for 1 for Cone. That could help slowly get him back into it. Should not get fatal pushed. Being able to slowly tick up and generate more Thopters when it dies. 6 lands for FreshMentor. Into another
And there's the
trade.
second count.
Yeah. 6 lands. Cone asking why he has so many. Okay, so another land from Cone. No, For green-black scales deck, he does not have many scales effects out on the field, even at turn 6. That hurts his game plans a lot, considering green-black is an aggro deck. Friendly banter between Fresh and Cone. Runs 15 and count. Hmm. Tapping smoothing wrench. What could play? Maybe a walking ballista? Yep, walking ballista for 1. And he will pass the turn back. No fatal push from FreshMentor, as he didn't inclined to he would have been inclined to use it there to kill either the walking or the hanger back and make a zombie. Ooh, a Kogan's command off the top. Or maybe it was in his hand. Either way, it's a 2 for 1, allowing him to kill both Hangerback and potentially Walking Ballista. Though,
then make 2 more zombies.
Yep. What? Tapping. Why is the Hangerback? Hmm. Okay, wait. Was he just I guess he decided to make Cone discard instead of killing both the Hangerback and the Walking Ballista zombie instead. But he does deal with the Hangerback Walker. Although I feel he should have taken out Hangerback over, because the Hangerback generates more value potentially than the Walking Ballista. So I feel he should have dealt with that instead.
Hangerback can grow to the size to actually deal with Kalitas over a large amount of turns.
Yep.
But Mentor does have another command in hand to deal with that.
Nice. Oh yeah, that'll be good to use. And when it dies, it gets exiled instead, so he won't get the Thopter. Oh, it'll push. That's just the icing on the cake.
I feel like the play here was to draw step, command, kill Walker, and discard.
Yeah. So, FreshMentor currently has Delirium. He has 4 types. They are land, instant, sorcery, and creature. So his Ishkanaz have get the spiders, and all of his other plays are turned on now. And he's in a very commanding position of this game. Swinging in with the Cletus as well, and having Cone be empty-handed. Ooh, a Dark Petition. Normally this would be used to get a season's pass, but let's see. He's milled over 2 of them so far. Yeah, and he only runs the 2 of copy of season pass, so he can't currently get. So he instead chooses to grab Liliana the Last Hope and kill off the Elvish Mystic, getting him another zombie, and playing a Bloodstained. So now it's top deck wars between the 2 players, but he's got Liliana, Kalitas, and 3 zombies after killing off the Elvish Mystic, so I believe this is probably over for Cone. Yeah, because he has 9, 11. He has 13 damage. No, if he top decks another green source, he has 13 damage next turn. And Cone elects to scoop it up. Now, after sideboard, FreshMentor is working with 2 Abrades, 2 Collective Brutalities, an Emrakul, the Promised End, 2 Infinite Obliteration, 2 Hour of Devastation, 2 Tireless Tracker, 2 Duress, a Ruinous Path, and a Never to Return. Whereas Cone is working with, I believe,
nothing that really looks relevant here, except maybe Tormod's Crypt for value.
Yeah. Tormod's Crypt. You can make some comment for Spyglass on Lily on the Last Hope, but I don't think that's correct. It's more for the Saheeli matchup where the combo kill is needed to be stopped.
If Cone's if Cone's creatures are small enough that Liliana kills them, he's already lost.
That's true. I could see from FreshMentor maybe bringing like a Braids as well as Hour of Devastation, just for sweeper and some removal to deal with Winding Constrictor. I don't think you need Tireless Tracker as much as it's a great card, because you just want to deal with their the skills threats. You don't want to outvalue them because they're an aggro deck. You just want to stop them in their tracks, and you should already have the late game if you can stop them from developing really early. Okay, so let's see what Cone decided to bring in and what's in his hand. What's first? Huh. Is there anything? Collective Tally probably no. I don't think there's anything else we want. Dress doesn't really hit that much either. Just scales effects, but that would be played on turn 1 anyways. Maybe Nissa. That could be another reason you might want Dress. Other than that, I don't think it would be that useful. Okay, Cone keeping 7, whereas FreshMentor mulliganing down to 6. Ooh, the double mulligan down to 5. This could spell game. This free him to track your opponent is always nice, especially when you're down a game. Turn 1 hard skills for Cone. This looks a lot better than last game already. Just off turn 1.
Especially since Scales is so hard for FreshMentor's list to remove.
Yeah, because the Braid not kills artifacts but doesn't touch enchantments. I don't think there's any way for him to actually deal with it. Yeah, there's only Duress on the play or can stop it. So Fresh's hand is a Wooded Foothills and a Braid, a Languish, a Hissing Quagmire, and a Dark Petition. He just played the Quagmire. So he's gotten a Braid for turn 2 for the Constrictor if he wants it. Then he's trying to get up to Languish while hoping Cone's creatures are not in range to be Languish. Well, hoping that Cone hasn't pumped his creatures big enough so that they survive a Languish. Turn to a Braid main phase to prevent any shenanigans that you might have. Okay, Woodfoot Hills for Cone. He plays yet another Walking Constrictor. That's bad for FreshMentor, considering he now has
an Arnhem Renegade to follow.
Oh, that's good. A 1 mana 3/4. No, 1 mana 4/5. It's 1 mana Tarmogoyf. Let's go. Essentially.
And most importantly, it'll survive Languish.
Yeah. which is his only way from coming back on the board currently. His hand is a bunch of 4-drops and 5-drops that require setup. He only has he's not guaranteed to hit a land this turn, but he does. Let's see. So most of Cone's plays currently will fall outside the languish range, meaning this could be pretty hard. This will be pretty hard for FreshMentor to deal with unless he finds a Hour of Devastation, and even that might be too small of a removal for some of Cone's bigger plays. Cone playing 3, maybe Nissa Voice. Yep, a Nissa Voice is on the card. Being able to put 3 counters on both of his creatures will put them both outside of languish range or any range of any sweeper that is not destroy all creatures like Crux of Fate. This also allows him to swing in for 12 this turn, putting FreshMentor on a 2-turn clock. This is a very explosive draw from Cone, even with his first Constrictor being removed by an Abrade. Fresh is looking hopefully for fatal pushes to deal with what's on board currently, as Abrade. He would need double Abrade just to kill off the Winding Constrictor, and that would leave him dead as it is to the Renegade.
7, 8, 1-drops.
Yeah. 1-drops and 2-drops. Pumped. Oblivion. Game 3. Very explosive draw from Cone, allowing him to win turn 4, tying the series back up 1-1. Okay. FreshMentor was obviously behind that game off the double mulligan, as well as having a pretty clunky hand, even though he had the Abrade turn 2 for the Winding Constrictor. I think with FreshMentor being on the play, though, with FreshMentor being on the play, Cone he'll probably be able to deal with Cone's threats better than the last game, being able to get to Languish faster, as well as having fatal pushes and Abrades up earlier.
And quite possibly just duress for an unkillable Scales.
That also. Oh, Cone also being him to interact on turn 1. Oh, Cone going to 4. That seems like it could be game over for Cone, just off the fact that an aggro deck going to 4 cards, even on the draw,
A
it's very rough.
synergy-based aggro deck, no less.
Yeah, a synergy bait. That's true. Turn 1 Scales and the turn 2 Winding Constrictor could into a Walking Ballista or a Hangerback, though, could potentially snowball if no fatal push is shown from FreshMentor. But barring that, I think Cone is very far behind already. Just a swamp for FreshMentor, so he doesn't have a duress in hand, or otherwise he probably would have cast it to deny a turn 1 Scales. If Tormod Crypt, so he did like to bring those in. That stops Delirium, but it doesn't stop a Cloydis from beating into his face multiple times. And Ishkanov for a 5-mana 3/5 Ishkanov for each is still reasonable when you're just trying to kill your opponent, not value out. double fetch. We could possibly see Winding Constrictor here, if or Nurnum Renegade or Scales. Maybe it could be a Hangerback Walker as well, but it's likely going to be Winding Constrictor. That's what you would prefer to play on turn 2. Start setting up your future plays. And Winding Constrictor, it will be Fatal Push or Braid. I'm expecting the Braid to come kill the Winding Constrictor and allow him to untap and cast maybe a Kolaghan's Command, forcing to discard, as well as killing the Tormord's Crypt. Or maybe he will elect to cast a Satyr Wayfinder to go and try and trigger Delirium. But that play seems a lot worse with the Tormord's Crypt in play.
Either one generally just forces.
Ooh, or he's just playing a Liliana the Last Hope, which could be good.
Play Lily,
bad.
kill all your stuff. Ult.
Yeah. Okay, so Mentor's hand is Languish, a Grasp of Darkness, and 2 Dark Petitions. So I believe he's probably pretty set for the removal plan of any of Cone's threats. Dark Petition being able to search for anything he needs in particular, as well as having a sweeper and removal spell that kills all of Cone's things currently. With no Cone plays Renegade, 1 mana, 2/3 Death Touch, but in the face of Liliana, this is a lot less scary, as it'll just get plussed on until he ults Liliana the Last Hope. So I believe FreshMentor is in a commanding position of this game so far. Don't think that there's much chance that Conking out just off of the mull before and having so much removal in FreshMentor's hand. If FreshMentor draws any other threat, it's likely just going to be a nail in the coffin. Looks like this is going to be a Kolaghan's Command, kill your Renegade, and discard a card on draw step for FreshMentor.
Upkeep is better, and it looks like that's what he's doing.
Yes, that is in fact what he is doing. Don't want to risk a land being in his hand off the top to nullify the discard if he thinks this is going to be a relevant threat. And in fact, it is an Avatar of the Resolute, so it's a good thing to discard. Would have been a 2 mana 4/3 there, being able to contest the Liliana even through the plus.
He has a grasp in hand, which he would use on that.
Yeah. Ooh, Anissa. That's not that effective with this board state. If he had had the Avatar of the Resolute as well as the Nurnum Renegade, however, this would have been a formidable foe. Instead, the plants are just going to get killed off by the Last Hope before he ends up ulting, likely taking this game with solely on the fact of the emblem. Having 5 cards in hand versus no cards in hand with a better soul planeswalker, a better planeswalker with no board state. And this is why hard scales can sometimes fail, because if you mulligan bad hands a bunch, your synergistic aggro deck turns into a bunch of cards drawn out of order, and you end up crumpling to a subpar but still good draw. And the Kalidas trader get starting to kill off means he can't play. He can't plus Nissa. Otherwise, he just starts giving FreshMentor free zombies every turn, and that'll just add to the Liliana emblem. Wait, no. It's not. It's non-token, I believe. So that doesn't work. There's no token because it's non-token creatures killed off. Yeah. Okay, so he's not quite in such a tough spot, but still, it's hard to get. It's gonna be. I believe it's gonna be impossible.
Best play would probably be to alt Lily this turn, so that he can pressure Nissa.
Yeah,
Nissa alt might just get
get
him some chance back in the game, if not much.
Yeah, but either way, Liliana plussing lets Kalita swing in, so there's always that argument. And then next turn he can ult Liliana and still keep her around. Ooh, and he has Lightning Strike, so this play just kills the Nissa this turn. Which is nice. Okay. So he still has a Grasp and a Languish. So his hand is still Grasp of Darkness, Languish, and 2 Dark Petitions. Compared to a with a Lily about to ult, a Kalitas that's doing work that just killed off Nissa. Compared to it, looks like as well as having hard scales and Tormod Crypt, which FreshMentor doesn't even need Delirium to win this game because he's just gonna Emblem and start beating in with Cletus and a bunch of zombies. That's the one bad thing about Tormod's Crypt in this matchup. It doesn't necessarily need Delirium to win. It can just beat to death with a Cletus, as well as Liliana Emblem on a subcard draw. I don't think there's any number of cards. Yeah, it looks like Cone's going to probably scoop him up pretty soon. Well, not scoop, but he's gonna just lose pretty soon. It's a 2-turn clock, I believe, because at the end of his turn he gets 2 zombies. The next turn he gets 4, that's 7 damage. Yeah, it's a 2-turn clock. Okay, so FreshMentor's in Dark Petition first. What? What? For three black mana is what he'll have to work with. Could he get a Painful Truce? But that's not. He wouldn't want to use that this turn. He could maybe get a Chandra for next turn or something. Yeah, he did in fact choose to get a Chandra. And then now the emblem triggers at end of turn, getting him. He gets 2 this turn, then this will just snowball, putting another 4 the turn after into 8 the turn after. Just yeah. It's gotta feel really bad if you're Cone. Just mulling to 4 game 3. Even worse than FreshMentor mulling to 5 the game before that. Another Nissa voices Zendikar. This stems the bleeding, but 2 zombies are still gonna punch in either at his face or kill off the Nissa. So Count leaving up black mana could signify a fatal push should the plant die. Chandra coming down. can use this to pressure the Nissa, as well as just pressure face. Then Lily can kill the plant every turn. Cohen remarking on the stream approaching levels of brutality he's not comfortable with. But yeah, this is brutal if you're Cohen. Mold the 4, get double points walkered, as well as having your tech card of Tormred's Crypt be almost useless, as FreshMentor has not needed Delirium this game, so it's done nothing but just sit there currently. And it could have been something like another Winding Constrictor instead, or something else bad in the matchup that he took out that would have at least done something. The Delirium. No. Interesting. Wonder why he didn't attack with the zombies. He just attacked Cletus. Wonder why that is. Friendly banter between the two competitors is always fun. What? So Cone plays out a third Nissa, I would assume, or is this attack? Yeah, no, it's just a third Nissa. Okay. I mean, this is good when you're ahead, not so much when you're this far behind. Yeah, because this should be lethal this turn. Unless FreshMentor is trying to drag it out for some reason. I was asking why it's not dead. What? I also don't know this question because he should be dead, or at least this turn. Yeah. Okay. Plus Lily on the plant. Just swing in with the 6 zombies and Cletus, and that should be game. Even through a removal spell. Okay, so that wraps up the league match of FreshMentor versus Cone. Cone getting very unlucky this game. Even after 5 game 2 for Cone to win game 2.